Judge Joe Biden, he's completely missing in action from leadership. And you know who else is missing in action? Donald Trump is missing in action. He should be on this stage tonight. He owes it to you to defend his record where they added $7.8 trillion to the debt.
And I want to look at that camera right now and tell you, Donald, I know you're watching. You can't help yourself. I know you're watching, okay? And you're not here tonight, not because of polls and not because of your indictments. You're not here tonight because you're afraid of being on this stage and defending your record. You're ducking these things. And let me tell you what's going to happen. You keep doing that, no one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're going to call you Donald Duck.
Oh, he's shaking
How rehearsed was that?
in his high tops.
How rehearsed was that? Oh, my God, that didn't work as a gag. Chairman of Republican Overseas, Greg Swenson's here. Greg, we trailed this yesterday. You've watched it. You're over the detail. That was pretty lame stuff. And I was pretty amazed because I saw some of it. Some of the debate was about who paid for the curtains in the UN ambassador's residence, because Nikki Haley, the former ambassador, was on the platform. Who cares?
Yeah, there was some of that. And you could see it in the candidates that are in the bottom half, and they're polling in low single digits. You know, they're trying for a knockout blow. It seemed a little desperate. I thought Tim Scott, you know, that was a little cheap about the curtains. Who cares? And by the way, the story wasn't really true.
Right.
Same thing with, you know, you could tell Chris Christie was
that's the big guy,
that in front of the mirror. Yeah,
very bad joke.
So, you know, he's in the lane of being the real bulldog fighter that's going to, you know, really go after Trump, which he did in the first debate. Whereas in this one, it looked like everybody was going after Trump. And you saw the comments from Governor DeSantis where, you know, I think the polling is suggesting that, you know, while I said yesterday that tactically it might have been smart for Trump to avoid the first debate, the voters aren't seeing it that way. They're looking for people that are going to try to earn the nomination. And I think that's going to hurt Trump in the long run.
Interesting, because a lot of people have been saying that it's a win for him not to turn up to these types of things. They often descend into chaos, cattiness.
Oh, absolutely. I think the one-on-one debates are much better. And we'll see that there's a debate on November 30th between Governor DeSantis and Governor Newsom from California, which would be a real, you know, red state, blue state, but it's also the future leaders of each party. So, you know, those are always productive, I think, or I argue they are. But yeah, these 7 or 8 person debates, they really, it's hard for anybody to really.
They're awful in this country too, aren't they?
Yeah, shocking. But there was a consensus, I think, Greg, that DeSantis emerged as the strongest last night.
Yes, not by knockout, but on points for sure. To use a boxing analogy. Yeah. But he really came out looking good. His comment at the end when Dana Perino asked if they would vote someone off, which was a little game show-ish, and he just right away said that's ridiculous. We're not going to do that. It cheapens the debate. So I thought he did a really good job. He hit a lot of strong points that are good for him that he can lead on, and I think there will be some drops. I think that, you know, maybe not immediately from the debate, but you're going to see some fundraising numbers on Saturday that will indicate that some of these people are crazy to stick in, and it's all about consolidation. There's no way that anyone can beat President Trump if there's 5 or 6 candidates in the race.
Because he benefits, doesn't he, from that? DeSantis, the money's pouring in for him, I gather.
Yes, yeah, he's done really well with the fundraising. He crushed it in the second quarter fundraising. He'd only been an official candidate for 6 weeks, and yet he outraised President Trump. So he'll either beat President Trump in fundraising or come in second. You know, President Trump had the great mugshot, that was $7 million in 24 hours. So, you know, it will be one of the two. And ultimately, as we get to Iowa, it will turn into a 2-person race. It very well might be Trump and DeSantis nationally, but in Iowa, it's already becoming a 2-person race. 79% of Iowa voters are willing to consider candidates other than Trump. Only 20% are definitely voting for Trump. So even though he's polling at 50 in Iowa, only 20 are saying definitely Trump. Some are probably Trump, or 48% are considering candidates either other than Trump or Trump, and then there's 31% that will definitely not vote for Trump.
And when is that first vote? Because that's going to be critical.
Late January.
Right.
Okay, so a while off now. Was Ramaswamy a bit of a punching bag? I'm just reading here that Nikki Haley said, honestly, every time I hear you, I feel a little bit dumber for what you say.
Yeah, it was another kind of cheap shot, but, she's got a point, but also... I think what happened is Vivek got all the attention in the first debate.
He's the young billionaire.
Yes, and he was really talkative in the first debate, had a lot of, he took a lot of shots at the other candidates.
He was pretty rude, wasn't he?
He was really obnoxious, but it actually helped him with visibility.
Right.
So his numbers went up, but also his negatives also went up after the first debate. So I think he toned it down a little bit. He tried to be a little bit more of a team player. So I don't think he came out looking horrible. From the debate last night. And nobody really, I don't think there were any knockout blows, but Doug Burgum from North Dakota, no one even knows his name. I had to look it up 5 minutes ago. Right. So, I don't think he's going to stay in very long. But you've got to see some, Mike Pence, Tim Scott, you have to see some drops.
And of course, he was the Vice President, Mike Pence,
That's
wasn't
right.
he? Has he got any chance at all?
No,
right.
He doesn't. And
why is he running then?
I think in many ways, I think he wants to just save his name, because he got into some heat. He's criticized from the Never Trumpers. He's criticized for being Trump's vice president.
Yeah.
From the really rabid Trumpers, he gets criticism for not doing what Trump asked him to do on January 6th.
When they stormed Capitol Hill.
Which was, I thought, a great moment for Vice President Trump.
It was his best moment.
But he doesn't really have a chance. So this gives him a forum to send a message, but I don't think he's got a realistic chance. He's running in that really traditional, conservative, very pro-life lane. But Ron DeSantis can run in that lane, too. And so everyone's got their little, their vertical. But DeSantis has basically all the verticals. He's the total package. So I think he can run with all of the other candidates in their lane, but he can run in all the lanes.
Yeah.
Has Trump commented on what happened last night?
Not anything.
You haven't seen anything
deliberate yet,
no?
But I think that I thought that there was some really good criticism. You heard from DeSantis and Chris Christie, and that's really the consensus, that he's not out there earning it, and we're seeing that.
That's just true, isn't it?
Of course it is. And the thing is, he's tough. He's been around. He's a good performer. I think he'll probably have to do the next one, won't he?
He might. I think that there's a chance, and he has to look at the polling too. And what's happened in Iowa is he's treated himself or considers himself the faraway favorite. But they're starting to panic in Iowa, and you're seeing he's hiring people in Iowa. He's really trying to play catch up there. So that's kind of an indicator that this might not be as easy as he hopes or he thinks. But we'll see. And if there's some consolidation again, and you end up with a two-person race, DeSantis could very much win in Iowa. I'm not suggesting he'll win in New Hampshire and South Carolina easily, but it's all about that first race for an incumbent.
I liked the sound of Ron DeSantis, but then, I don't know, slightly moving towards the authoritarian, perhaps.
Yeah, but I was curious as well, Greg. There was obviously a lot of flack about Biden, but what if Biden is dropped by the Democrats? Does that change the entire...
Andrew, great question, and I've been talking about this for a while. There's a few things that can change the dynamics here. One of them is, one possibly last night with the debate. I don't think it's a total game changer, but the other is Biden. When Biden drops, and it looks like they're the left and the legacy media is flipping on Biden. They've protected him as best they could for the last 2 years, but they really are starting to give up hope on him. So and I thought they'd hold out till next summer, but the last week has been really bad for him. The last few weeks, he's polling horribly, as I mentioned yesterday. So I think if he drops, then the GOP race might change as well, because they'll look and say, okay, it's no longer the grudge match. It's no longer the vendetta of getting back at Biden for 2020 and that heavyweight brawl between Trump and Biden. Plus, you'll have a younger candidate from the Democrats that's going to make Trump look like
an old man.
The old man. And I think there'll be a really great argument to move on, next generation, pass the torch.
That'll change everything.
Greg, you'll be here to tell us more, that's for sure.
Nice to be here.
Chair of
Thanks.
Republicans Overseas, Greg